Hi everyone, this is Heidi Myers. During this presentation, I'm going to be presenting my final research paper, the Executive White Paper Final Project for MBA 500. During this presentation, I will first touch on my personal background. I'll then move on to describe my management thesis. I will then touch on all of the management elements of my thesis: autonomy, training and instruction, encouragement, motivation, and empowerment. Each of these elements will be important when hiring your management team. You'll want to hire management team members who are champions of these management components. And then fourth, I will move forward and I will reiterate my thesis and present my conclusions. Starting off with my personal background, I graduated from St. Francis University in 2010 with a bachelor's in accounting and a minor in management. Since I have worked as an auditor for the Naval Audit Service, a program and budget analyst for the Department of Health and Human Services, a financial analyst in private industry for a DoD contractor, and most recently as a program analyst for the Army Corps of Engineers. In each of my positions, I have had various managers who sometimes worked in conjunction with my thesis and sometimes have managed much differently. Additionally, during my time as a program budget analyst for the Department of Health and Human Services, I obtained my certificate of public accounting. I'm a few classes short of obtaining my master's in business administration as well. So I have the academic background and professional experience needed to provide the guidance to aid in successful hiring of this management team. My thesis and your guideline for management hiring is as follows. By providing autonomy, training, individualized instruction, and encouragement, the best managers can both motivate and empower their employees to work towards the best interests of the organization. So I'm going to break down the thesis over the next few slides. And of course, if you need more background information, you can always refer to my executive white paper. First, we'll begin with autonomy. Why is autonomy important? Managers should give their employees the freedom and independence to work in conjunction with the goals of the management team and the organization. The managers you choose to hire should allow individuals to be creative in solving problems and developing solutions. The best organizations give the employee the freedom and encouragement to be creative and imaginative. By allowing these freedoms, an organization is better equipped to solve complex problems and adapt in the ever-changing global business environment present today. In an environment of autonomy, innovation is bound to flourish. If innovation flourishes, the company will flourish as well. Additionally, autonomy provides employees with a feeling of satisfaction and purpose. The opposite of autonomy is control. No one likes to feel controlled. The management theorist who I believe champions autonomy, just one of them, is Theodore Levitt. He was a German-born doctor of economics and faculty member at the Harvard Business School, and then he served as the chief editor of Harvard Business Review. He did a variety of studies on the railroads, but one of his key points on autonomy is that he encouraged organizations to give employees the freedom to be creative and imaginative. He knew that ideas were easy to come by, but if willing and able, intelligent people are placed in the right setting, they can brainstorm multiple solutions to a business problem in a short period of time. This allows the organizations and the employees to solve problems and work better to serve the unit as a whole. He also argued that successful organizations convert their ideas into innovations because organizations have the opportunity to distribute risk and they have the manpower to implement creative solutions. So by providing autonomy to their employees, a company can flourish. The next component is training and instruction. Providing training and instruction is a key to having employees that can do their job well. A formal training program coupled with on-the-job instruction keeps employees happy and fosters loyalty. It also leads to job retention. Building a management team that champions training is a must, and making sure that employees hired under the management team are afforded the opportunity to develop both soft and hard skills via training are both of utmost importance in building an organization. Two champions of training and instruction are Henry Gantt and Megan Burow. Henry Gantt was among the pioneers of scientific management. From his experience as an engineering consultant during a strike at Sal's Bleachery, a textile dye plant, Gantt developed a deep appreciation for training new employees. When a strike ensued, he was the one who was required to hire and train replacement workers. In training the employees, he thought about how to best train workers and started to consider intensive training a responsibility of management. He saw that it developed cooperation in the workforce. He also learned that training added to employee job satisfaction. In his view, training was a win for both managers and employees. Megan Burow is a more contemporary writer. In today's business environment, growth and learning opportunities are expected. In her article in Forbes, she stated an employer who does not focus on learning is going to lose out in performance, engagement, and retention. And I agree. The next component is encouragement. Managers who provide an encouraging environment have employees who prosper. Managers who can determine employees' strengths and use those strengths as an advantage to an organization are invaluable. Furthermore, good managers consistently thank their employees for a job well done. They check in with their employees to determine what they need to do their job well. And they have confidence in their employees to assign important and difficult tasks. When an employee feels as though their employer trusts them with important and difficult tasks, the employee gains confidence and performs better. Two champions of encouragement are Douglas McGregor and James Seaworthy. Douglas McGregor developed theory X and Y during his studies of contemporary human relations. He believed that managers who followed theory Y behaved starkly different than managers who followed theory X. Theory Y managers believe that humans are lazy, need constant supervision and control, have little to no ambitions, and do not want responsibility. While theory X believe that humans want to do work. They will accept added responsibility, will perform above and beyond requirements. Theory Y managers believe that rewards can and will push employees to achieve organizational objectives. Employees are able to creatively solve problems and have vast intellectual potential. Managers who supported Theory Y strive to create encouraging working conditions where their employees can achieve their own goals and add to the success of the organization. You'll want to hire managers who champion Theory Y. While McGregor was developing Theory X and Y, James Seaworthy advocated for employee participation in decision-making. He urged organizations to move from tall organizational structures to flat structures to improve behavior and boost organizational morale. And finally, motivation and empowerment. Why are motivation and empowerment important? Motivated and empowered employees are engaged and productive employees. They work hard towards organizational objectives. They believe that they are partners in the business and they view the organization's success as their own. Good managers foster an environment of motivation. They empower their employees to make decisions and foster an environment of partnership and purpose. Two champions of motivation and empowerment are Mary Follett and, more recently, Harvard Business Review's Dan Cable. Mary Follett was an early master of workplace motivation. She strongly believed that when you have made your employees feel as if they are, in some sense, partners in the business, they do not improve the quality of their work, save waste in time and material because of the golden rule, but because they have the exact same interests as the organization. She viewed organization and employees as partners serving a common purpose. Follett believed that management should be approached through human values. If employees are respected, employees are motivated and empowered to work in a way that serves both themselves and the organization. When managers can foster an environment where employees are valued for their unique skills and provided opportunities to use those skills, employee motivation will be high. Dan Cable was a proponent of this and still is. Employees will be able to find purpose in their work and develop a deep sense of connection with organizational goals if they are motivated and empowered. As touched upon above in the studies of Theodore Levitt, employees who can experiment with different ways of completing organizational tasks are happier, more motivated, and more successful than employees who are held to strict, rigid roles and processes. Creative new approaches help an organization be more agile. Innovation fosters positive emotions. Positive emotions lead to increased motivation and productive solutions. Those were the thoughts of Dan Cable. In conclusion, throughout my executive white paper and throughout this presentation, I've explained why each component of my thesis statement is important and given you the background on why these components must be emphasized to achieve organizational success. Although my thesis has been proved using the examples within the body of the paper and the examples that I touched on in this presentation, the theorists I selected do not provide an exhaustive list of scientific management theorists that help support my thesis. You could study Frederick Winslow Taylor. He would be a champion of many parts of my thesis. He was an expert on efficiency and paved the way for the scientific management movement. Furthermore, the Hawthorne studies can be reviewed to further emphasize the importance of workplace motivation. In the studies, workers were more productive and motivated when managers selected them for a special focus group for many different reasons. One of them, including a manager who was less rigid and less controlling. In applying my thesis to your search and implementation of a management team, the organization should look for managers that champion each component of my thesis. They should be managers that think autonomy, training, individual instruction, encouragement are of utmost importance. They should be able to motivate and empower their employees. They should be able during the hiring process to give you examples of how they have done this in the past and how they plan to do it in the future. Again, by providing autonomy, training, individualized instruction, and encouragement, the best managers can motivate and empower their employees to work towards the best interests of the organization. Good luck on your management search.